Welcome to China Currents, your weekly news report on the latest developments in China. In this episode, top mathematician Zhang Yitang says he left the US for China due to the political climate. Nomination of a new academician at the Chinese Academy of Sciences, a former vocational school student turned PhD supervisor draws attention. China's July power generation exceeds 1 trillion kilowatt hours. And China's foreign minister visits India and Pakistan in succession, sending strong signals to the region. A drone rescues 2-year-old girl missing for more than 30 hours. China Currents is a weekly news talk show from China to the world. We cover viral news about China every week and also give you the newest updates on China's cutting-edge technologies. Let's get started. I'm Chris. Now let's start today's China Currents. Recently, Zhang Yitang, a world-class Chinese mathematician in his 70s, resigned from his tenured professorship at University of California, Santa Barbara and moved back to China with his family. He has been appointed chief scientist at Sun Yat-sen University in Guangdong, becoming one of the most significant figures in the wave of overseas Chinese scholars returning home. In a media interview, Zhang admitted that with rising tension between US and China, he had long been considering a return to China. One detail he revealed was particularly telling. Zhang said that Sun Yat-sen University waited until he had boarded the plane and flown out of US airspace before announcing his appointment. When his plane landed in Guangzhou, China even sent a customs officer to board the plane and personally welcome him and his family. Zhang said he had been deeply touched and added, "It shows how much my country values me. The best I can do is to continue my research." Zhang earned his master's degree in 1985 at Peking University, one of China's top institutions, before pursuing further study in the United States. He received his PhD from Purdue University in 1991. In 2013, he published his landmark paper, Bounded Gaps Between Prime Numbers, which made the first real breakthrough in solving the famous number theory puzzle known as twin prime conjecture. The achievement won him worldwide recognition. Since 2016, Zhang had been a professor at UC Santa Barbara. Since Donald Trump's return to the White House, the US has drastically reduced funding for scientific research. Meanwhile, the lingering effects of Joe Biden's China initiative have discouraged more Chinese scholars from studying and conducting research in the US. Commenting on the situation, Zhang also mentioned the difficulties faced by his colleagues. The Trump administration has cut off funding for many labs. Those doing biological research are deeply frustrated. Although mathematics was less affected, Zhang still decided to return, responding to enthusiastic invitations from Chinese universities. He described the feeling of coming back as being reborn. It's like returning to the starting point again, coming home to work to serve my country. His late-age return has sparked debate in China. Some wonder if he'd returned at an age more suited for retirement. Others argue the vision of a top scientist is invaluable for mentoring the next generation. Alongside Zhang's return, another scientist has attracted widespread public attention in the latest round of nominations for Chinese Academy of Sciences. Professor Gao Huijun from the Harbin Institute of Technology spent 10 years transforming himself from a vocational school graduate into a doctoral supervisor at one of China's leading universities. After graduating from a vocational school in 1995, Gao worked in a factory as a grinder and studied undergraduate courses on his own. By 1998, he has passed 15 exams to earn his bachelor's degree at age 22. His life continued to inspire awe. At 29, Gao became the only scholar in Harbin Institute of Technology's history to be promoted directly from lecturer to professor, and also its youngest PhD supervisor. In 2014, Thomson Reuters tracked the top 1% of highly cited papers across disciplines over a 2-year period, and based on the evaluation, named 17 of the world's most influential scientists, with Gao Huijun the only Chinese scholar among them. In July 2021, he was elected a new member of the Academia Europaea. Although many Chinese netizens describe his career path as almost legendary, Gao himself summarized it humbly: strict in standards and thorough in effort. Now let's turn to China's new record in electricity use. The National Energy Administration recently announced that China's power generation in July set a new world record, historically surpassing 1 trillion kilowatt hours, reaching 1.02 trillion, the first time any country has ever achieved this. Domestically, this was an 8.6% increase year-on-year and double the level of a decade ago. Internationally, 1.02 trillion kilowatt hours is equivalent to the entire annual electricity consumption of the 10 ASEAN member states combined. China's leading political website, guancha.cn, published an editorial analyzing the significance of this figure. The article noted that the achievement would not have been possible without bold reforms by China's central state-owned power enterprises. Over the past decade, the State Grid Corporation of China and China Southern Power Grid broke up their own monopolies, abandoning administrative allocation of power and state-fixed electricity pricing. Instead, they introduced market-based mechanisms in both generation and retail, allowing private capital to enter the power sales sector. With full competition in buying and selling electricity, prices became more transparent and flexible. As a result, China's market-traded electricity volume skyrocketed from 1.1 trillion kilowatt-hours in 2016 to 6.2 trillion in 2024, against the backdrop of soaring global energy prices. This reform kept China's power costs stable. Household electricity prices remain only about 32% of the average level among the world's 50 major economies. Second, the grid companies invested heavily in infrastructure, building a smart transmission network capable of delivering power across vast regions. With a maximum transmission capacity of 142 million kilowatts, the grid ensures electricity transfer and secures the national supply. Third, China's power sector has actively integrated renewable energy. Of July's 1.02 trillion kilowatt-hours, nearly one quarter came from wind and solar sources. The electricity data also reflect profound shifts in China's economic structure. Particularly notable in July was the tertiary sector, which consumed 208.1 billion kilowatt-hours, up 10.7% year-on-year. Between January and July, electricity use in internet-related services grew 28.2%, while charging and battery swapping services surged 42.6%. These figures point to the rapid rise of mobile internet, big data, and cloud computing, as well as widespread adoption of electric vehicles and other emerging industries. Now let's focus on Chinese diplomacy. Last week, Foreign Minister Wang Yi visited two of China's often tense neighbors, India and Pakistan, within just 5 days. In New Delhi, Wang met with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, meeting again after 3 years. Wang emphasized that both countries had agreed to jointly face global challenges and oppose bullying. Immediately after India, Wang traveled to Afghanistan and Pakistan. From August 20th to 22nd, he met with leaders from both countries. In talks with Pakistani Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Dar, Wang once again voiced opposition to bullying and expressed China's goodwill, offering to build an upgraded version of the China-Pakistan Economic Corridor. Wang's back-to-back visits to India and Pakistan invite comparison with recent U.S. actions in the region. Washington has not only punished India by imposing an extra 25% tariff on its exports to the U.S. for continuing to buy Russian oil, but has also openly courted Pakistan, selling it F-16V fighter jets and supporting its military campaign against the Balochistan Liberation Army, a group believed to be backed by India. Leaving aside great power rivalry, let's end with a heartwarming story. On August 22nd at 7:40 p.m. in a mountain forest in rural Hubei province, police officers carried out a curled-up 2-year-old girl from the undergrowth, bringing a 30-hour search and rescue mission to a joyful conclusion. The toddler had gone missing on August 21st. By the time her family called police that afternoon, they had already been searching for 5 hours. With dense summer vegetation and rugged terrain, the risk to a lost child's life remained grave. Under police coordination, local officials, civilian rescue teams, and villagers conducted a carpet search assisted by tracking dogs. In the end, it was a police drone that made a crucial discovery. Using all-around aerial patrol and repeated thermal imaging scans, the drone detected the girl's body heat. At first, the drone operator mistook the spot for a bird, but as he zoomed in, he realized it was a missing child. It turned out the girl was fine, with just mild dehydration. One Chinese netizen commented under the news story, "This is exactly the way technology should be used for." That's all for today, and thank you for watching this episode of China Currents. If you have any thoughts or comments, please leave them below, and see you next time.